Welcome back to another episode of Mindfulness Moments. I'm choosing a card here from Thich Nhat Hanh's cards. The card I've chosen for today is Nothing Exists by Itself. We have no need of a separate self or a separate existence. In fact, nothing can exist by itself. We must interbe with all things. Look at a flower. It cannot exist by itself. It can only interbe with the whole cosmos. And that is true for you too. Getting rid of the concept of a self is a key to happiness, because all suffering is born from this concept of a separate self. Really wonderful card. Really wonderful message. If we really think about this, how much suffering do we cause ourselves by thinking that we have a separate self? That we exist independently. We exist interdependently. Thich Nhat Hanh suggests that we look at the flower. How many things does the flower depend on? The clouds to create rain, the sun to give it all kinds of nutrients that it needs, the soil, the compost. These are all very important. And if you look at us, we need other people. We need resources. We depend on other things in order to live this human life. And when we get trapped in this concept of thinking me, instead of we, us, our, when we get caught up in that, that's when we struggle. When we think that and when we get caught up in our struggle and we think that we're separate, excuse me, then our suffering even becomes worse, because we don't understand that others are struggling the same way or in their own way, and they have struggles. Just as a rose planted may struggle just as much as the blue violet, but one blooms as a rose, the other blooms as a blue violet. They depend on the same minerals, the same energy from the cosmos, but they go about their business of blooming. They don't compare themselves to each other. Some flowers, they welcome the bees. They welcome the bees to come along and help them pollinate. Some of us, when we see bees, we become fearful. And that's just a perception that we have. I'm using the bee as a metaphor here, but if you think about it, fear is an idea. A separate self is an idea. When we can change the way we see things, when we can really change the way, and we remind ourselves, when we come back to our breath and we remind ourselves that we are, and we see that person who appears to be rude to us, we know not to take it personally, that they are going through something. They're caught in some sort of darkness. They haven't been led to the light. They haven't put in the work that we are putting in. This concept of separate self, it hurts us in so many ways. It hurts us because sometimes when we're suffering, we have mental pain, emotional pain, we have physical pain. We believe we have to go it alone, but we don't. We're all here for each other. And some of us have so much trouble in expressing ourselves because we don't know ourselves. We haven't taken the time to look deeply to see where our struggle lies, to see where our hang-ups are. But when we take that backward step and we look inward and we start to embrace our struggle, our suffering, our anxieties with compassion, with humor, we can see them as an old friend. And sometimes that old friend wants to reach out and ask you for a dance. But as we get better at recognizing this, we can say, no, thank you. I'll pass, and smile and thank that old friend for coming today to show me my progress, to show me how I perhaps have become comfortable with my anxiety, my suffering. And for a point, it may have served a purpose, but we no longer need it. So when we return to our breath, when we return to our practice, and we return to letting go of attachments, articulate to a separate self. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your practice. Please like, share, subscribe, comment below. Wonderful week.